Your bank account, your private data, and the entire global economy are currently sitting on a digital time bomb. As of today, July 5, 2026, the fuse has officially hit the detonator. We are not talking about a distant sci fi future anymore. We are talking about a systematic shift in how human civilization secured its most valuable asset. More decades, our entire global infrastructure has rested on a single mathematical assumption, one that just evaporated into thin air. Welcome to the dawn of absolute quantum transparency. The catalyst for this shift happened this morning. Rumors had been circulating inside advanced physics labs for months, but the confirmation of a stable 4000 logical qubit processor changes everything. In the world of quantum computing, physical qubits are noisy and error prone, but logical qubits are corrected, stable, and devastatingly efficient. Reaching 4000 of them means the world has crossed the CRQC threshold, a cryptographically relevant quantum computer. This is not just an hardware upgrader, it's a terminal point for current digital privacy. To understand why this is a catastrophic event, you have to realize how our current digital lock works. Every time you log in into an app or make a transaction, your security relies on RSA encryption. RSA works because multiplying two massive prime numbers together is incredibly easy. But forcing a classical supercomputer to reverse that process and find those factors would take longer than the age of the universe. The 4000 qubit processor does not just guess the combination faster, it uses quantum mechanics to make the lock itself completely irrelevant. What this means in practice is a concept cybersecurity experts call glass security. Because the quantum machine of this scale can bypass RSA and elliptic curve cryptography effortlessly, your current banking credentials, corporate communication, private encrypted messages are now essentially transparent to any entity with quantum access. The digital walls we built to protect our daily lives haven't just breached, they have been turned completely see through. When individual security dissolves, the macroeconomic responds with absolute panic. The global banking ledger relies entirely on the mathematical certainty of the digital signature. If a central bank cannot definitely verify who is sending $1 billion, or if a sovereign nation's treasury signature can be perfectly forged in a millisecond, the wheels of commerce grind to a halt. We are looking at a very systematic risk of a total global liquid freeze, an economic standstill born for a sudden absolute vacuum of digital trust. But if you think that the danger is only what about happens for this morning onwards, you are missing the most terrifying piece of the puzzle. For over a decade, hostile state actors, sophisticated syndicates, have been executing a strategy known as HNDL, harvest now, decrypt later. They have been quietly tapping undersea cables, vacuuming up the petabytes of encrypted corporate data, military communication, personal files, and storing them in a massive data vaults. Today, the 4000 qubit threshold was crossed. Those archives are being opened right now. The fallout of those unlocked archives will trigger a wave of geopolitical destabilization. Unlike anything we have seen, classified government communication, deep intelligence files, and decades of corporate espionage data are going to start leaking into the public domain. When sovereign secrets become transparent, geopolitical alliances fracture overnight. The economic impact is not just fluctuating stock market, it's the structural realignment of global power as the hidden history of the last decades come to light. This is not hyperbole. It is true, unadulterated mathematics, the weapon of choice in Shor algorithms on a standard classical computer, finding the prime factor of a 2048-bit number scales exponentially make it practically impossible. But Shor's algorithm turns that exponential problem into a polynomial 1, O log n cube. For a quantum computer running stable logical qubits, a calculation that requires trillions of years on a classical computer collapses into mere hours, and eventually seconds. The math is absolute and the math does not care about our comfort. Even the traditional safe havens of the digital age are vulnerable. Legacy blockchain networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum are often praised for unshakable, but Their underlying architecture relies heavily on elliptic curve cryptography. Because public keys are inherently exposed on an open distributed ledger, a quantum armed syndicate does not need to guess a seed phrase. They can mathematically reverse the public keys to generate the private keys in real time, actively draining dormant addresses, early zombie blocks, and exposed cold wallets before the network can even attempt to fork. So, is the entire digital world completely defenseless? Not quite. A quite desperate counteroffensive is already underway. Cryptographers have spent years preparing for this day by developing the post-quantum cryptography or PQC. The new standards like MLKEM and MLDSA don't rely on prime numbers. Instead, they protect data using incredibly complex geometric structure called lattice. To a quantum computer, navigating a high-dimensional lattice in an intraceable maze. The race right now is no longer about inventing the shield, it's about deploying it before the old world is entirely compromised. We are living through a massive historic transition. The architecture of the internet is being completely re engineered, while the global financial system is in full flight. Navigating the new reality requires the moving beyond legacy thinking. In our next briefing, we are breaking down the Quantum Survival Guide, the exact cryptographic tool, sovereign grade vaults, and zero knowledge protocols you need to implement immediately to shield your personal capital and data from the post RSA era. Understanding these semantic shifts is the only way to stay ahead of the curve and before the old system fades away. If this analytical breakdown brought you clarity in a world of the digital noise, I invite you to join our community. Please take a brief moment to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming guide, and a drop of comment below with your thoughts on how this shift impacts your security. Share this briefing with those who need to see the writing on the wall. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and thank you for watching.